Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really honored to be able to introduce to you a very close personal friend of mine. Colonel Ernie Litynski is the group commander for Emergency Preparedness Group out of Camp Douglas, Utah. In this role, he provides oversight for 53 emergency response teams, coordinates directly with the U.S. Army North and other government agencies for homeland security and defense. Colonel Litynski is a 1994 graduate of the United States Military Academy, where he graduated in the top 7% of his class. As a side note, I did not graduate in the top 7% of my class. Colonel Litynski has a master's in engineering management and a master in business administration from Marquette University. He is also a graduate of the Army War College, a very selective Army program designed to train lieutenant colonels and colonels on strategic level issues, and in many cases prepare them for their role as a general officer. In 2005 through 2006, he volunteered to deploy as a future operations planner for the multinational corps in Iraq. In 2007, he deployed again as an operations officer attached to the 82nd Airborne Division in Afghanistan. On a personal note, I have known Colonel Litynski since our days together at West Point, and I firmly believe you will not find a more dedicated, more professional citizen soldier. I'm humbled that he, his wife Jennifer, their children Amelia, Olivia, and George are able to join us today. Please welcome Colonel Ernie Litynski.
Thanks, Dan, and it's been a pleasure carrying you throughout the last 25 years in every endeavor. So, actually, it's the opposite of that. Dan's helped me both on the military side. He used to haze me. He was a year ahead of me at West Point. Correction, the term haze is wrong. He used to teach, coach, mentor, and train me to become a better officer as a cadet. And then he's actually helped me acclimate to the Milwaukee area when I got off active duty. So, I'm still in reserves. I know Dan misses it. But I think he gives back a lot more by doing events like this, so thanks, Dan. Well, I'm not a Whitefish Bay resident, but I feel like I am. I come here often enough to visit my friends. My brother-in-law lives right down the street, so I really appreciate having the opportunity to come here and speak a few brief words, and it will be brief, about what Memorial Day means to me. While our nation honors its veterans every November on Veterans Day, today honors those 1 million service members who have made the ultimate sacrifice by giving up their lives to protect the sanctity, rights, and liberties granted to each one of us every day. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of Whitefish Bay, friends, and especially family members of those who may have lost loved ones fighting for this great country, it is my distinct honor to be here today in remembrance of our nation's heroes. Unfortunately, to many, Memorial Day is just another excuse for a 3-day weekend. It's also the day that marks the start of summer and is a day devoted to getting great deals via ads in a beefed-up newspaper full of box store sales ads. However, the true meaning of Memorial Day is more than barbecues and baseball games. I was one of the many who thought of Memorial Day in this way in the past. Growing up, Memorial Day was a long weekend for me to get away, go fishing in the north woods of Wisconsin. It was also a break for me from work and my other duties. But the post 9/11 events and the dawns of Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan and Operation Iraqi Freedom in Iraq provided me new perspective on Memorial Day. Most notably, the lives and ultimate sacrifices rendered by 4 individual men that I consider my friends and heroes have changed in what I believe, and not only in Memorial Day, but for the remaining 364 days of the year. I'd like to briefly share the stories of these 4 men. First of these men, U.S. Army Sergeant Zach Teller, who was a consummate professional as a cavalry scout and a paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne Division in Afghanistan.
Sergeant Teller was awarded the Bronze Star Medal and Purple Heart in April of 2007 for pulling 2 comrades out of a burning vehicle that struck an improvised explosive device. He then jumped into the vehicle and returned fire on enemy while being severely burned. Sergeant Teller recovered from his burns and returned to his unit, where he eventually was killed by small arms fire in September of 2007. Sergeant Teller, I salute you today. Similarly, U.S. Army Major Jason George, or as my wife and I call him, JG, was a West Point classmate of mine, and then we served together on active duty. Jason eventually left the Army for a successful career at Deloitte Consulting in Chicago. Jason probably made more money in 5 years than I made my own career. But he felt the need to continue military service and came back in the United States Army Reserves in order to volunteer for Operation Iraqi Freedom. Jason was assigned to the 252nd Combat Arms Battalion in Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and was deployed to Iraq in 2009. After merely a month in country, he was killed by an improvised explosive device while on patrol. Major Jason George, JG, I salute you today. One of my really good friends, albeit an Army guy, was the United States Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Max Galliai, who was most soft-spoken but most effective leaders I've ever met. Max was my boss when we served together in Iraq, and I have no doubt in my mind that Max would have been the first general officer to come from the territory of Samoa. After we served together, Max redeployed to Iraq in 2008, where he served as a battalion commander of 1,000 Marines and sailors. 2 days prior to transitioning security from the U.S.-led coalition to the Iraqi government in Anbar Province. If you don't know what Anbar is, you may have heard of Fallujah or Ramadi on the news some days. It's a pretty hectic Wild West place. But Max attended a meeting there with tribal sheiks in order to team and celebrate transition of security to the local leadership. During this celebration, an Al-Qaeda operative dressed in a police uniform detonated his suicide vest that killed Max, as well as 3 other U.S. Marines and numerous Iraqi individuals, to include 8 sheiks. Lieutenant Colonel Max Galliai, I salute you today. And finally, probably the closest veteran to me was Major Larry Bogus, who served with me at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and then in Iraq at a follow-on assignment. After our deployment to Iraq, Larry's ultimate dream came true when he was assigned to the 82nd Airborne Division. Larry had over 130 parachute jumps and lived for the esprit de corps that the Airborne provided. To give you perspective, I've got 31 jumps and I close my eyes every time I jump. I don't know how guys do it, so for all the paratroopers out there, God bless you. During a subsequent deployment to Afghanistan with the 82nd Airborne Division, Larry coordinated a meeting between Pakistan's Frontier Corps, which is very similar to their militia, and Afghan's army in order to develop better border security and eliminate gaps and seams for the Taliban operatives. During the meeting, infiltrators ambushed the American contingent, and a Pakistani operative turned his weapon on Larry and expended his magazine at point-blank range, mortally wounding and killing Larry, but not before he was able to alert his fellow paratroopers on an impending ambush on the rest of the unit by more covert terrorists in the vicinity. Major Larry Bogus, today I salute you. I do not mean to gruesomely point out the deaths of these 4 American heroes. Rather, let us remember that these men will never again take a vacation with their families, play catch with their children, or enjoy the laughter that life brings. Similarly, their families will always have a piece of their hearts taken from them and never be able to hug their fathers, sons, and brothers again. So that is what Memorial Day means to me. Remembering the sacrifices of our fallen comrades provided us with the unalienable rights to enjoy simple privileges and life moments they will never enjoy again. Think about that the next time you hear about a fallen hero. Each story of each individual killed in action has, in a small way, provided you with the right to exercise your own free will at any given moment, or enjoy a barbecue today, or if you could, to honor him or her today as well. So to Sarah Teller, widow of Sergeant Teller, to Hugh and Candy Mason, parents of Major Jason George, to Evelyn Gallier, widow of Lieutenant Colonel Gallier, as well as their 4 children, and to Wesley Bogus, widow of Major Bogus, and her 2 children, Ryan and Ellie. And finally, to all others who have lost loved ones in combat, fighting for our virtues, I thank you for allowing us to honor your sons and daughters, husbands and wives, and fathers and mothers on this day. To all the attendees here today, thank you for taking the time out of your day to honor the true meaning of Memorial Day. Your choice to attend this event provides true meaning to the lives of every fallen U.S. service member. And finally, Dan Carey, my friend and brother in arms, thank you for this gift you give all here today. Your dedication to this event has made Whitefish Bay family come closer today and recognize the true meaning of this day. For that, Dan, I'd like to present you a coin from my unit. Come on up here. So in the service, we have something called the challenge coin. This goes back to the Roman days and the legions. If you came to a patrol or to a sentry, the Romans would have coins marked with their unit representing their legion in order to get passed through to go where they need to go. Today the tradition's changed a little bit. Someone that gets the challenge coin from the unit is really a brother or sister in your unit as well. But there's more to it than that, Dan. As you know, Dan, from your service, when I present this challenge coin to you, when we're having our favorite beverage, usually it's alcoholic, got to throw this on the table. If Dan doesn't have it in his presence, he owes me a beer, and vice versa. So Dan, thank you, brother. Appreciate it.